Hello, this is Lori. Today I want to show you how to use this FiddleDeeDee Designs template called Blooming. She has a set of templates, a dressed up and a dressed down version that have these cool flower cutouts in the background. And you can see the shadows on the preview. So I wanted to show you to maintain these shadows, making it look like these petals are lifted up in different directions with the light hitting it in different ways. I wanted to show you how you could use this and maintain that look really easily. You will see over on the right hand side there are some instructions that talk about the shadows as a separate element, and they are locked. And if we scroll down and look, this is the shadow for that cool flower arrangement. You can also see that there are shadows for each one of the photo spots, which is a little bit different for FiddleDeeDee. And those shadows make these photo spots look like they're lifted up, just like the flowers are. And that's such a cool look. It's relatively time consuming and not that easy to do with Artisan. So when a designer includes those and they're not attached to the ping file or the photos, they're a great thing. When they're attached, it's a lot harder to work with them. But like this, they're very easy to work with. If you needed to resize one of these photo spots, say you were going to take this one and maybe make it bigger or change the shape of it a little bit, you would need to unlock the shadow underneath and then select both of those. You would go to Group, then you would resize, and you can see that the shadow stays with it, and then you would ungroup. Now, if you do that, changing the aspect ratio, you get this message. So to avoid the message, we'll go to aspect ratio and restore original, and you can see now we can ungroup. But to avoid that message, if you needed a horizontal rectangle photo over here, then use this one and copy and paste that with the shadow. Likewise, if you wanted another vertical photo or a square photo, use one that's already the right size. Otherwise, changing the aspect ratio will be a problem. I'm just going to undo the two changes that I did so it looks like it did before. And the first thing I'm going to do is fill in some photos into the spots. Now, I have already worked with this layout, and I basically, if I can remember, know exactly where I want everything to be. But I just literally pull the photos in, drag and drop, just like what you see. Now, right here, see that I did not ungroup these. So I will go to Arrange and Ungroup, and then take that top photo, and I just need to rotate it around. As I've got the photos in place, then I'm going to go over to the papers that are in the kit. And the kit that I'm using is an Etc. by Danyale, and it's called Cottage Number 9. It has some cool flowers and a lot of fun papers, and I particularly wanted something with the greens in it because of the photos that I'm using. So I'll move that back over. I already pulled all the papers, the JPEG papers, over into my photos spot because I work in Windows folders. I don't load into content. And I'll select the background first and just go get this green and fill that in. And then down here, this painty look, I'm going to do that filling with this paper, yellow paper with the white polka dots. I just love the way that looks when it's in there. See all the polka dots on that painty layer? It's like someone spattered it with white paint after they painted the yellow over it. And then with this layer, I'll just take a blue and fill that in so that it blends into my background paper. Now when I take this flower layer, I'm again not taking the shadow, I'm just taking the flower layer, and I played with a few different papers in there. I decided I really liked this one, but I want all of these little flowery designs to be smaller on my paper, so I'm just going to enlarge this until it kind of fills the paper from side to side. And then you have those filled in exactly the way we want them. And at this point, I'm going to add in my embellishments. Now, I did do something cool that I want to just show you how I did it. So let me pull this embellishment over. And what I did with it is I kind of tucked it over and under. And instead of beautiful day, I wanted it to just say beautiful, because it's actually going to be instead of the title at all, and just the word beautiful, not the word day. There's a couple of different ways that I can do what I'm about to do, but this is the way I do it. Touch up and erase, and then I come over and make my diameter whatever size is easiest to work with. And I'm just going to erase out the word day. And I will OK that. And then I need to cut these two pieces apart. So I'll just go to a straight cutter. And I'll keep both areas and cut. I will move this edge of the swirl, this edge of the design, over and angulate it slightly so that it matches up well. Okay, so now I've got the swirl with the beautiful, but the other thing I want to do is this part of it I want tucked under the flower, but I want the other things to be on top. So I'm going to copy and paste just this part, and then I will align those together. And if I scroll up and take a look, you can see that here they both are at the top. I'm going to take this one, and if I just drag and drop it here, you'll see it drags to the bottom of the Elements panel. And now I can grab it, and I'm going to put it right underneath the shadow of the flowers, because the shadow needs to stay on top to make that look better as I do it. At this point, I go and select the top one. You can see that bottom one is no longer selected, just the top one. And I will go back to Touch Up and Erase. I need a bigger brush this time. And now just where that flower is and slightly over it, I'm going to erase. And you can see that now it looks like it goes under while it still goes over other things. I will select what I need to put a light shadow on. I want a light shadow on some of it. And with this part, it's going to be the back one that I put the shadow on. Now, anything else on this page is just pretty typical with titles and words and elements. So let me go show you my finished page. It'll take just a moment to save this. But I did take all of those photo spots that FiddleDeeDee has on this template, and I put flowers from the kit onto those. I, of course, did shadow those flowers, and then added in my journaling and a few words to go with it. Everything came out of that same kit. So there you go. Anytime you see cool shadows that have a really nice depth to the element that you're working with, if those shadows are not attached to the ping files, then you can do something like this very easily and get a very unique and distinct look. Have fun.